The following content contains discussions and depictions of drug use, addiction, and its consequences. Viewer discretion is advised, especially for younger audiences and those who may find such topics distressing. If you or someone you know is struggling with addiction, please seek help from a professional organization or contact a local support group. Canonicity Advisory. This video deals with speculation. Helldivers 2 is a live service game. The continuity is always developing, and contents discussed may be disproven or made redundant by the time you view this video. We all know the standard issue Stim, that vital, life-saving jab of Permacura's finest, keeping us on our feet, patching us up, and allegedly definitely not getting us hooked. But what if the demands of galactic liberation called for something more specialized? What if Super Earth, in its infinite wisdom, offered us tailored elixirs for specific combat scenarios? In our previous discussion, the fascinating science behind Stims, which I wouldn't be surprised if you haven't seen because we discussed drugs.
You give me a creep, you know that, Dexter?
Yeah, I know. Sorry about that.
Naturally, the algorithm killed it without remorse. Go check it out. The science is grounded in reality. Anyways, we speculated on Permacura's Stim technology. We discussed what the Stim's chemical composition may be, method of delivery, and delved deep into some of the really theoretical but still feasible medical science to justify the otherwise unbelievable capabilities of Stims. I encourage you to go check out that previous video. It will do a way better job explaining what I'm about to do here. The Stim's chemical composition is speculated to be a powerful blend designed for battlefield survival. It is thought to contain potent stimulants like adrenaline and amphetamines to drastically increase Helldivers' endurance and reaction time. Additionally, the formula includes strong painkillers such as morphine or an even more extreme counterpart to numb pain from severe injuries. Finally, and perhaps the most important chemical component, is a hemostat or clotting agent and the chemical messengers to encourage the production of transforming growth factor beta, which works to accelerate blood clotting and stop severe bleeding by encouraging the production of ionized calcium. All of this is pretty crazy to stick into what is essentially an upscaled EpiPen. The Stim pistol is worthy of a discussion all on its own, as whatever we choose to do to the standard Stim, we can expect to subsequently affect the Stim pistol and its ammunition options. The data from the front lines is crystal clear. 10 out of 10 Helldivers, whether they returned to the Super Destroyer or were recovered for a memorial, had evidence of Stim use. A lesser mind would conclude that the standard Stim is an essential, universal tool for all combat situations. This is a clear case of survivorship bias. We have the what, but not the why. Why did some Helldivers survive and others become martyrs for democracy? The answer isn't in the Stim itself, but in the specific way it was used to overcome a specific threat. The data shows everyone used a Stim, but it doesn't show that the standard Stim was the right tool for every job. This is the exact reasoning that justifies the development of specialized Stim variants, and our sponsor, Permacura, has provided us with 3. For the Helldiver who failed to dodge a Charger's wrath, their failure wasn't due to standard healing. They needed a shot of Adrenastim to amplify their reflexes and speed, a tool that prioritized agility over regeneration. They died because they weren't fast enough to avoid the fatal blow. For the Helldiver who shielded their squad from a swarm of devastators, it wasn't a quick heal that killed them. It was the shock of being pelted with bolts of unabated red plasma. They needed the resilience of Rebuff Stim, a compound that temporarily turned their armor and flesh into a fortified bulwark. They didn't endure because they weren't tough enough to take the punishment. And the final Helldiver, who couldn't outrun the Stalkers to complete the mission objective, their survival wasn't about being mauled to death. It was about keeping consistently ahead of their hunter. They needed the sustained endurance from Resistol Stim, a boost that pushed their stamina far beyond normal limits. They died because it couldn't outlast the enemy and escape. Consider the Adrenastim, forget mere reaction time. This is a shot of pure, unadulterated velocity. Its core composition would lean heavily into synthetic epinephrine analogs, possibly involving experimental cholinesterase inhibitors to prevent the rapid breakdown of neurotransmitters, allowing for near instantaneous muscle response and perception. The cost? Such a surge would inevitably shunt biological resources away from healing. Your blood might clot, but deep tissue regeneration would be severely deprioritized, leaving you faster but far more fragile to sustained damage. Speed not quite your thing. How about the rebuff stim? When the enemy hits like a charger and you need to hit back harder, this is your answer. Its chemical makeup would likely focus on powerful, fast-acting anabolic agents and myostatin inhibitors. Furthermore, a complex blend of opioid antagonists might be included not to numb pain, but to allow the user to push through incredible stress without the physiological shutdown response. The downside? Healing is an energy-intensive process. Diverting all that metabolic power to temporary structural reinforcement means less available for repairing actual damage. You'll take the hit, but patching up afterwards will be a slower, much more painful ordeal. Alright, so maybe you just want to forest it and run those endless charges across desolate landscapes. When running is the only way to avoid annihilation, we have the Resistol Stim. This concoction would be a masterclass in metabolic manipulation. We're talking highly potent AMPK activators to supercharge cellular energy production, ultimately forcing the mitochondria into overdrive, ensuring every calorie counts towards the user's output. The original intention of this video was to encourage thought-provoking ideas regarding alternatives to stims, when rather, and as I'd discovered shortly after, was the impact these alternatives would have on Helldivers' worst support weapon, the Stim pistol. Boo me all you want. Truth being told, I don't like the Stim pistol. When every member of your squad already has Stims, the identical product no less, it really makes the idea of a field medic rather redundant. But having a tool that can enhance your squad's gameplay in both strategy and efficiency changes the equation altogether. Having a member of your team simply be able to switch the fire modes on their Stim pistol and hook you up with, some Resistol for the start of an initial march, or rebuff before entering highly guarded locations, or Adrena moments before a stalker catches you and mauls you to death, is something I would want to see introduced to Helldivers' support dynamic, something that is admittedly sorely lacking. I had to take this video down well over a month ago, and some of you noticed. That's because when I realized the impact these alternatives would have on the Stim pistol, I felt as though I had to do it justice and make it apparent how much of a game changer the alternative ammunition types could be. While it may not have seemed like it throughout the video, this ultimately was more of a pitch for the Stim pistol rather than the alternatives to Stims as they are. The Stim alone is not enough, and life is always better when you have more options to pick from. Hey guys, it's been a minute. So I've been AWOL for a bit across everything. Here is a bit of a life update. My YouTube, Discord, and all my social medias, both personal and professional, have taken a bit of a hit when it comes to my online presence. While I'm not necessarily complaining about catching something akin to a break, it certainly doesn't feel like it. I don't intend to stop here on the YouTube, don't get me wrong, but I do expect my content to slow down quite a bit from what you are potentially used to. Helldivers, as much as I love it, has sorta begun to wear down on me. I've been busy also playing other games like Dispatch and the Fallout franchise in anticipation of Season 2 coming out soon. Point being, I hope that this is okay with you. I enjoy this channel and my clan a lot. You, the viewer, are amazing, and those members of the First are the best of all. In my absence, you have kept the lights of democracy on, and I'm grateful for that. You can find a link to the First in the description below. But lastly, like and subscribe, or I'll kill you.